Right folks, welcome back to Delboy's Garage. Right, now just a little job on Penny Pit Stop's new bike. Going to try and get some how-tos done in place of just a mix-up with some of the new fun stuff that we're doing on the road. And tonight, as we've got the new bike cleaned, we've got everything adjusted and it's ready for it to ride. But one of the things that Penny's always had is she's always had me put some adjustable levers on. Harley Davidson's, if you're coming close, Harley Davidson's come with a fixed lever like this, and the brake lever on your Harley, that is the fixed position. That's the angle you get, that's the grip or the span that you get, and they're quite a deep lever as well, quite a big chunky thing. Now that's the same lever as you'd get on a tour guide or on a big Dyna Super Glide or something or whatever. So somebody's got a Sportster who's got smaller hands, they need a smaller lever. Now you can buy them. This is one. This is a lever by Oberon. Oberon is I don't know where they're from, but they are a very slick adjustable. As you can see, you adjust the little rotator and it adjusts the span of the lever from something like an inch further out to 2 inches further in, giving you a better grip. Also, they're billet, and I'll touch very quickly upon the fact that you can buy billet levers from China, and they're not billet levers, they're cast and they've then been machined to look like billet. The difference is that Penny had these on her other bike, and I have a habit, and I'll come over this in a minute and show you exactly what I mean. You leave all the fasteners on the switchgear and the clamp just a little loose. They need to be just tight enough. Don't go leaning on them, monkey boy, like I've always said. The reason isn't that you'll snap them off, because you can do that too. The reason is if you drop the bike goes down on the lever end and it snaps the bobble off if you're lucky. If you're unlucky, it snaps off up at the neck and you can't get home. Now these billet ones, when we were out, some bastard decided to push the bike over on a previous bike, and as it went over, it went down on the brake lever, on this lever. Now firstly, there's not a mark on the end of that, not a single mark. It didn't even put a mark in it. They're anodized, they're not painted, but what happened, because I leave this slightly loose, it pushed the whole switch block up the bar about an inch and it didn't break. And there's the difference. A billet brake lever, a proper billet, actually machined from aircraft grade billet, these are £75 each. They're a big investment. A pair of these, £150. But it's kind of money well spent. The cheap ones, I know the people who like to buy Chinese stuff and then smugly argue that it's okay and that they save money. Well, that's up to you, my friend. But the first time it snaps off and leaves you on the side of the road, you might reconsider your decision. So let's get this changed. Stick around, stay tuned, I'll show you how we do it. First thing I've had is many people say, I'm just going to take the mirror out of the way to make life a little bit simpler and cleaner. A few people have emailed me in the past and said that they can't get the lever out, the brake lever, and that they've been trying for an hour and wiggling it about, getting annoyed with it, and it just doesn't want to come out. I'll show you exactly what happens when you try and take it out. Take the mirror out of the way. That's just out of the way. Now another little thing I always suggest is a little bit of a simple workshop practice is take a towel, an old towel, this is my workshop towel, and lay it over the tank. Because you're working around this area with tools, you've only got to get a screwdriver or something, slip out your hand, and you've scratched your tank. So just do that. Right, underneath, this is what holds the lever on. Let's have a look at the mechanism. There's a pin that goes through there. Simple push pin, all right? It's not screwed in, it's got a circlip. I want to show you the simplest way to get it out. The little circlip underneath, you can't even see the thing. They are the tiniest circlip you ever saw, and I've spoken to mechanics that haven't got circlip pliers this small. The hole in the circlip, they're about 1 millimetre. They are delicate, they're almost like electrical parts. You don't need it. A couple of electrical screwdrivers. Good torch. Right, here we go. Now this is, that's why you cover your paintwork up. Right, that's the bottom there of the push pin. As you can see, it's just pushed through, and it has on it, hold that like that. It has on it this little circlip. We rotate the circlip round. Here's a bit of a toe rag, this thing. There, look. You cannot get that off easily with circlip pliers. So we use two little straight screwdrivers. Put one in above that little tab and one above that little tab. And the trick is rotate them outwards. It's a bit tricky, but you'll get one will hold it like that, and that one we'll get it off. There it is. Okay, as you can see, fingernail around it, take it out, there we go. Alright, it's a little bit tricky, you'll get it, and if you look at it after, you will have bent it a little bit because it's a pathetic little thing, but you can straighten it out because it is soft. So get that safe, you've got a sink. Okay, lift this out, that's your circlip pin, and that's the pivot pin for the lever. Just lift it out, it's a greasy little pin, pop that there, out of the way. Now, at this point, people expect the lever to come out, and I've had people email me and say, I'm just about to get a hacksaw and cut this sodding thing off because it's doing my head in. Honestly, it's very easy, I'll show you. You need some of these Torx bits. If you haven't got a set of these, buy some. And the one you need the most on your Harley is the T27. A lot of sets you buy go T25, they go straight to T30. They're car kits. If you buy a motorcycle kit, T27, it's a size, I don't know how it refers to, it's not 27mm, but they usually come with a little doodad like that. And then just get the bit in there and just loosen off the switch block, top, and underneath there's a little screw on that side. Now get these firmly planted in. If you push them in only a little bit, or if you are in rotated slightly and you try and mince them, these are very sharp and these screws are very soft, and you can know the result. So just get that backed out, and then you've also got to do the clamp here, which is the big one around this side, and that's a T30. Now come right out with that till the whole lot's adrift. Okay, just like that. Right, back that right off. Once the whole lot is all adrift, it will wriggle out. There we go, out. Okay, and what's holding is this little block bit here. That holds it in. Okay, simple as that. And your lever, if you look, is the same lever. That fitting is exactly the same, so that lever will go straight in there. Okay, and all we do, pop the lever in, put this is actually the post. If you take your torch in there, Glenn, that, hang on, that in there is the bit that pushes on to make the brakes work, and it has to sit inside this bit, so it kind of sits around the back. So this little point here is the offending bit. It has to be there, otherwise it won't back off enough. So feed it in gently. Again, wriggle, wriggle, and then bring all this back together, back to how it was just now. You see there's a little tooth that goes into that block. That's where you've got to bring out and move off a bit, and then just bring it back together like that, and then just do it all back up, because you can do this up completely almost. Here's a little tricky, just a quick thing. When you do this clamp up on the back, you've got the clamp like that. Just imagine the clamp goes around the bar like that. Make sure that when the clamp goes on, that these two gaps are equidistant. Make sure that they're like that, not bolted tight at the top, then trying to get this bit at the bottom to come in. I think you understand that. So make sure that when that clamp goes on, it's equidistant. If it's round like that and then you try and bolt the bottom in, you'll stress this outer cap and it can crack. And y'all know Harley pricing. So stick a fingernail in the gap underneath, and when it starts to pinch your fingernail, come to the top, use your fingernail as like a feeler gauge. You'll feel it equal. It'll come in, and that can boogie around in its space because you haven't got the pin in it yet. And then just take T27, just wind these up till they're roughly done up, and the bolts are just home. They don't need to be tight, just home. And these gaps, again, if you look in this end, it's the same on this. There's a gap there, and there's a gap there, and you can see this gap's too much, so we just back that one off very slightly, and then wind the top one or the front one in, so it brings that back together. Put it in the tool. Put it in the tool. So just wind that in a bit, and as that comes in, then that gap each side is roughly the same. Okay. Now the lever, now that's roughly done up. We're going to obviously rotate it so it's correct. We just pop the pin back in, down through and out the bottom. There we are. And then before you put the circlip in, just give it a test like that. Sometimes you get a little click as it just goes home into its position, and then all you've got to do is manipulate your favourite little circlip into place, which has got a little bend in it. I'll just straighten that up. That goes back in. Now putting them back in is much the same process as taking them out. That's it. Can't really see that, can you?
No.
There we go. There you go. That's in. All right. And to check that it's in, just push that upwards with the screwdriver. If it doesn't come out, clearly the circlip's in its little home. There you go. Jobs are good. All right. Put the teeth around the back. That's it. There we are. Now a little bit of WD-40 just in this gap if it's a bone dry thing. Don't grease it. You don't need to grease it. My view on that kind of thing is that if you put a big blob of snotty grease inside there, it's going to collect dust and it's going to form a sticky paste, and that can actually be worse than lubricant. So nice little bit of GT85 or WD-40, whatever you use, or even WD-40. 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 Right, and then you just adjust the levers to where you want them. So there you go. Mirror back in. You can adjust them in a minute. And whoever's bike it is, if it's your bike, then you can just sit on the bike afterwards. This is why you cover everything in a cloth.
That's why you should be in the garage.
That's why I should be in the garage, working in your
utility room.
It's warmer in here. And if you're you can do the mirror up. Now this is the reason why we left the clamp. I'll come back to that in a minute. So again, this is the point, to get the rider who owns the bike to sit on the bike, pick it on up, get the bars where they are. Now if you feel the other one, when your 2 bars were set, even if it's somebody else's bike and you're working on it for someone else, if you feel at the beginning that they're both level, you haven't touched this one. So that's your gauge, if you like, that's your measure. So come to this one, just rotate it down till it's the same, or up, whatever, until it's the same as the other one, and then you just left it in the same place it was in before. There we are, that's where we are. So leave that where it is. Take your Torx 27 again, do the switch block up first. But again, I'll say this again, these little tiny bolts, they really are a crap invention. I hate them because they mince for a pastime. There's a little one on it. I've replaced so many of these, I've had to drill them out. When you get this tool, one of these is really handy. It's a bit like an Allen key wrench. If you want to do something up without too much tension, just use this top bit with like one finger, and the maximum torque you can get on that is a lot less than you'll get on with that. So the point being, you won't over tighten it if you use the tool that way. So just do them up like that. That's it. Come underneath. There's a little screw there. There you go. A little bit of a thumb pressure on that. That's it. Doesn't need any more. It really doesn't. If it moves, just move it back again. It's not going to come off when you're going up the road, is it? It's just be sensible. And it goes the same for the clamp. A lot of people think that a brake lever clamp is important. It needs to be really wound up tight. It doesn't. Again, do it this way with that much. If you've got that much leverage in your hand to turn, you haven't got much, have you? So if you just pop it in there and just do it up till it feels the nut, that's it. Just do it up nice and gently. If you start a practice of not over tightening it. Now, if this bike falls over and that lever hits the ground, it's just going to push all that up the bar. It will slide. It might scratch the paint, but hey, it won't break the lever off. At 50 or was it 75 pounds a lever, it gives it a chance. They're a good bit of kit. So there we go. That's how you change a brake lever on your Harley Davidson. It's exactly the same procedure for pretty much any Harley. The switchgear block needs to be undone. The clamp needs to be undone. The whole lot needs to be loosened off, opened up, jiggled out of place, and the lever will come out. Then put the next lever in, job is good, and that's it. So there we go. Next one we're going to do in the next video, so that we can title them different for people looking for different things. So join us for the next one. We're going to do the clutch lever. Take it easy, ride safe. See you next time.